Right now on Michael Cohen and money. It comes from the Wall Street Journal's Michael Rothfeld. The headline, U.S. probes Cohen over cash he built up during campaign. Trump's lawyer took out lines of credit to secure access to as much as $774,000 as race heated up. Michael Rothfeld joins us on the phone. So, Michael, this has literally just been posted. I haven't been able to read the article. Explain what you have learned.
Hi, Anderson. What we reported is that Michael Cohen doubled his home equity line right as Donald Trump was in the height of his political fortunes rising and going into the primary campaign in February 2016. So he closed off his existing home equity line of $255,000 and took out a $500,000 home equity line. And we know that he said he used part of that to pay Stormy Daniels 9 months after that. And furthermore, Rudy Giuliani said this week that Michael Cohen settled other things for Donald Trump. We don't know whether he used the home equity line for that as well.
So it's interesting. I mean, again, Michael Cohen has all along said that, he did this on his own without consultation with Donald Trump. This does sound, though, like a far more organized and premeditated, pre-thought out plan to get a pool of money. Is that a correct reading?
It certainly seems that way. I mean, he, as I said, he took out an additional $250,000 in ability to borrow against his apartment right at the time when Trump was going into the Republican primaries, and successfully, and he's been holding a lead against his, more experienced rivals. So it indicates that Cohen may have been looking to have a stash of cash on hand, essentially to settle problems with throughout the campaign. And we've reported that tonight also that the Southern District is looking at that more broadly in terms of Cohen's ability to raise money, like how was he raising money through his own personal assets, like in taxi medallions and real estate, potentially to use that for settling problems for Trump. And whether any laws were broken in that regard. The other thing that we reported in this story is that in November of 2015, Cohen co-signed with his in-laws a mortgage in which they took $529,000 in cash out of an apartment at a Trump building. So essentially they got $500,000 3 months earlier than that. We don't know how that money was used, but again, the prosecutors are kind of looking at Cohen's cash flows, generally speaking, and how he used the money that was available to him.
Obviously, you are just reporting what you know, and I don't want to go down the road of speculation here, but it just is it seems highly unusual. I mean, it was highly unusual when Michael Cohen said that he took out a home and equity line of credit for the $130,000. It seems even more unusual that an attorney for a billionaire like Mr. Trump would stockpile his own money during a campaign. If the idea was to have this pool of money in order to handle things, it sounds like the pool of money would be to handle things without any association directly to Mr. Trump.
Yeah, and that's what's being investigated, essentially. Like, was Cohen doing these things to keep anyone from finding out? And, he has said, yes, you're right. It's absolutely an unorthodox way to do things. Period. A lawyer, taking money off a home equity line to pay a former porn star is obviously not something that most lawyers would do, especially when, they essentially send their client a bill and say, you have to pay this money. So that's definitely unorthodox. But, it appears that Cohen was, at least what's being investigated is what was he doing, secretly, essentially. Yeah. So that's where we are.
Right. And if it's unusual for an attorney to take $130,000 out for a particular deal, it's even more unusual for an attorney to, in advance, refinance his life basically in order to get a pool of money for whatever else may be coming down the pike during an election. It's really unheard of. I've never heard of an attorney, let alone doing one deal using the home equity line, but sort of stockpiling money for an effort is just extraordinary.
Yeah, that's right. But again, we have to say we don't know. So we know what he said. He used 130. That would have allowed him another 100 and change on the home equity line. We don't know how that money might have been used, and whether he used it for anything other than that you might traditionally use for a home equity line.
Yeah, Michael Rothfeld, fascinating, from the Wall Street Journal, online now. Thank you.